I think would have taken bib 30 if you'd offered it to her. Denise Herman probably would have rejected number 1. So here we go, and just 2 sprints left of the season. By my calculations, the Sprint World Cup has already been won by Tiril ECKHOFF. She's on 388. Roysland on 302, can only get to 348. Mike, I've seen, again, some people saying she hasn't won it yet, others saying she has. I feel she has.
I think she has indeed. Of course, with the new system with COVID, more results taking away than normal. That could well be the confusion.
It certainly complicates things. In terms of the overall, the only person only 2 people who can catch ECKHOFF are, of course, her teammate Roysland and Hannah Erberg. And we still have the 4 events to go after today, the pursuit tomorrow, and then we head to Östersund for the last round of the World Cup. Julie Simon, Mike, pretty consistently fast all the way through the season. I've been impressed with her skiing. When she increases her reliability on the range, she's 74 in the pro, and that really is where she's come unstuck this year.
Yes, and Simon, I think for me, a huge surprise when she took those 2 consecutive mass start competitions, Antholz and Oberhof.
Starting number 4 is Vishneskaya, Sheparenko, and for Kazakhstan, certainly capable of getting in the top 20. Her PB of 4th. That was back in 2017. I haven't quite seen a return to that sort of form, and be interesting to see what she does today. Now 27, shooting pretty well. Estonia's Talia Herm goes number 5, and she has a massive big names behind her. Mike, again, Vera and Vitozzi drawn just a minute apart. What a battle those 2 have had, and so good to see Lisa Vitozzi coming up. I'm wondering whether Lucas Hoffer's success yesterday in the men's sprint is going to affect things at all with the Italians today.
Often it does, and without doubt, Lucas Hoffer's skis were running very well. That's small factors, but they play the big part. And what about Vera last week, 5th? I really thought she could podium in the pursuit, but she finished at 34th. One of our worst drop-off performances from sprint to pursuit.
Yeah, I think she's known for a month or so that she wasn't going to retain the overall World Cup title. Didn't get off to a good enough start this season. Just missed out. She was unlucky at the Worlds, Mike. A 4th, she had a 5th in the single mixed relay, a 9th in the individual. She was nearly there, but not quite. Mari Ada for Finland, ranked number 47 in the world, so should comfortably qualify for the pursuit fairly easily. And actually, I thought her form looked pretty good last week. Top 20 in the sprint.
Yes, her ski speed was excellent, probably the best of the season. So Mari Eder, and often we see Mari Eder coming strong at the end of the season. She took her only victory, remember, in Oslo, and that was towards the end of the season. In fact, it was the last sprint and pursuit competition.
Here's Lisa Vitozzi. She's looking pretty lean and skiing really well. Certainly in the start gate, Mike, she looks hungrier than she did earlier on in the season. Things just weren't working for her in Kontiolahti. Had a pretty good sprint event in Hochfilzen, finished 7th there, shooting 0-0, but then had a few disasters. 3 misses in the second week in Hochfilzen, 6 misses in Oberhof. That was a disaster. Akimova now.
37th last week, 57th last week, only missing 1 target, so the ski speed is lacking. She moved up to 54th in the pursuit, but again missing 4 targets.
And she's going to be followed out of the start gate by Justine Brézard-Boucher. And Brézard-Boucher looking fairly comfortable last week. Really good sprint, top 10. Then dropped away in the pursuit, missing 7 targets in all. So way below what we normally see from her. And she's right on the border of the top 15 in the World Cup, Mike. So a good race today, pretty essential considering the pursuit tomorrow if she wants to finish top 15 at the end of the season.
Yes, as Vera's had a decent start here. I know we're only less than a kilometre, but I think she'll be okay, happy with 2 seconds behind Herman. And I think Herman, with her performances last week, must have rebuilt confidence. Second in the first World Cup, and then second last week, nothing in between.
Lynn Persson for Sweden, and the Swedish women have been not consistently strong all the way through the season. They certainly took us by surprise with incredible form in the first 2 weeks of the year, and then it dropped off when we went to Austria for week number 3. But pretty solid, led of course by Hanna Öberg, who's been the best all the way through. Kamila Zuk now for Poland. Very full programme. She raced at the World Championships. Now Vitozzi with a pretty fast start, almost at the split. There you go, 3rd position, just ahead of Julia Simon. No doubt that her form is better than it's been at any stage of the season. I guess she's going to look at that, Mike, as we see Herman come into the range. Vitozzi will look at the programme and maybe bring it forward just a touch next year.
Yes, it's all about getting the balance right, isn't it? And for Denise Herman here, in terms of conditions on the range, pretty much perfect. And she's adjusted there. That's because of the win during the zeroing earlier.
1 miss in the prone last week. Left, right, left, right. Like most good people in the military, Mike.
I think she was a little lucky. Was it the 3rd shot? It was an edge at, what, 7 o'clock? Look at the time she takes to get the poles on. Yes, it's maybe half a second less than the best, but it all adds up. Get those arms in gear fast, and you pick up momentum after the shooting.
Now, Franziska Preutz, another very good skier. I tell you what I'd enjoy, Mike, to see all the biathletes from, well, in fact, worldwide, but particularly from Germany over time, all the top biathletes from Germany racing without the rifles, just to see who really was the quickest. Neuner, probably. Dahlmeier would be right up there. Wilhelm would be up there. They had so many quick skiers over the years.
And Uschi Diesel, don't forget Uschi. She was a real fighter.
Yeah, talking about Diesel, if ECKHOFF wins today, she matches Diesel's record of 12 wins, top 3 in the all-time standings. Oh, that's a scrappy shoot from Julia Simon. Race over. So disheartening for her, and of course for the rest of the squad.
She missed there, Patrick, by 2.5 centimetres at least, and that is totally unsighted. So it's a major snatch of the rifle through to the left, because there was no point there squeezing the trigger that it was that it looked like a good shot. So an absolute snatch to the left.
Now this looks reasonably competitive time. Herman 3.7. Brézard-Boucher is very, very quick. Wow, that's a lightning start, and we'll see how she gets on. Started number 10, Brézard-Boucher. Chevalier-Boucher not far off the mark. Now, Dorothea Vera. Be nice to see one of her vintage shoots.
Well, her ski speed looks even better. Look at that, only 3.3 seconds behind Herman, and she lost 4 of them within the first 900 meters.
Not the perfect rhythm, but the perfect result for Dorothea Vera. And have a look at the time, 15 seconds still in hand over Herman, who was pretty sluggish exiting the range, but took a little bit longer with the preparation. Is Vera going to match it? I think she is. Really good start for the Italian. And Vittozzi, who started number 8, will see if she can match that in around 30 seconds time.
Look at Ada, her right elbow. She's muscling it. She had to move it 2 moves. It's never great moving that right elbow. She's got it fixed again. Hopefully the next 2 will go down.
Frustration. Here we go with Vittozzi. Oh, what was that about? She hit 5 last week and made it look easy and finished on the podium. So this time it's Vera who's clear. Vittozzi, who has failed 3 misses, Mike, 450 metres. It's only a 7,500 metre race. So that's well over 6% added, and I don't think we're going to see her again throughout the race.
I find it quite amazing. Vittozzi, last week you said 10 out of 10. She looked perfect in this race, and then a week later she's missing 3 out of 5. I can't understand what's going on there, but a change I think needs to happen in the summer to fix the position more firmly.
Now, Boucher, remember, the fastest through that early split and the fastest into the range by some margin. That was a good shot to finish and just what she wanted to see. Now, that's going to be a decent lead.
Yeah, Jean-Paul, his eyebrows raising up there. Can't believe that she's so fast into the range. 12 seconds ahead of Ada and 12.8 ahead of Herman.
Yeah, that's a very handy start. We've only had, unbelievably, Mike, 8 sprints. We've only had 3 different winners. Hannah Erberg, of course, who's coming up now, won the first 2. ECKHOFF has won the last 5. And Alimbakova from Belarus won World Cup number 3, which was the first week we had in Hogfilsen. So it'd be nice to see the French getting a share of the spoils.
I have to say, at the first and then the second World Cup, the way that Hannah Erberg had improved with those 2 wins, I thought she was going to be out-and-out leader this season, but she lost her way, didn't she? Her form dropped off. A few more podiums, well, 4 more second places, 2 more third places, but no more victories. So Chevalier Boucher, she adjusted the sights anti-clockwise, so she must have turned them to clockwise into the wind during zeroing. The wind's dropped away, so she's pulled them back. Didn't entirely work. Ideally, 5 out of 5 would have been her preferred score.
Now, Denise Herman with a good start, still after that first shoot, lying in 3rd place, 11 seconds off the pace. But if this goes down, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to see a pretty fast last 2.5K. Excellent shooting. Denise Herman back on her best form in terms of the shooting. Now, 11 seconds, I said, behind Justine Brézard-Boucher. That's quite a big margin. We'll see whether the French athlete can keep that pace going. Herman again, Mike, slow to exit. You'd expect to see a bit more urgency, especially having downed 10 targets.
Well, she likes those fixed Velcro straps. She likes them to get the energy through. But yes, losing maybe 2 seconds by putting them on.
Yeah, Preutz losing 11 seconds to Brézard-Boucher coming in. Brézard-Boucher, she's 8 seconds ahead of everyone. Hannah Sola, actually, is the 2nd fastest. Sola yet to exit. She's wearing 14. Tandra Vold with a clear shoot last week. I thought she might have been heading for a podium finish, but didn't quite have the speed. Had a very early start last week. It was an immaculate performance by her. Tyrrell ECKHOFF, is it going to be record day today, looking for her 6th successive sprint win in the World Cup. No man, no woman has ever achieved that. It's a big ask, Mike. She's won the last 5, which included, of course, the World Championships. It's been an incredible run of form from ECKHOFF.
The problem with records, she will have been informed. The press have been in touch with her about today as a huge occasion, and she's been so relaxed lately that I do wonder if that'll unsettle her. She was very calm on the first lap, very calm on the second lap, then full pace on the last lap last week. Looks a little more tense today.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if Brézard-Boucher shoots clear when she comes into the stand, that is going to be a tough time to match, particularly if ECKHOFF misses one target. This season, she's had the luxury of being able to miss and still win races by taking 25 to 30 seconds off everyone. Now Vera. No mistakes in the prone, as you can see. The standing has not been as good this year as it's been in the 2 years that she's won the overall World Cup. 85%, but that is as good as it gets. 10 down, 4 seconds spare coming in over Herman. Erberg needs to win, really, to put any pressure on Roysland and ECKHOFF today. She's been 3rd and 2nd, and she was leading the World Cup early season. And Vera is out, 3.6 to play with. That's going to be an interesting battle, Mike. So far, they've pretty much been even. Coming into the range for the first time, Vera was 16 seconds slower than Brézard-Boucher, and Herman was 12, so not much between them. Roysland, potential winner certainly, but she has not won a sprint so far this year, and in fact she's only had 2 podiums, but she's 2nd in the sprint standings on the back of some very, very consistent racing. But from my calculations, whatever she does here and in Östersund, she cannot catch Tiril ECKHOFF.
Aline Bekova, she started the season so well, and again for me, I thought she may be a real contender. She took a win on World Cup 5, and that was a sprint pursuit. She came 2nd. That was first week of Hochfilzen pre-Christmas.
Now Brézard-Boucher, keep an eye on her targets. 5 down. Well, there's the first miss. So, oh, the win has gone. The win has gone. That is very, very sad for the French team. Quickest coming in by some margin.
It's a real pity. She doesn't have except maybe 3 races a season where she's in the zone and can stabilize, very calm through the rifle. Today, very tense for those first 2 shots, and good discipline to take the last 3.
Yeah, 15 seconds clear of Vera coming in as we watch Tandrevold settle. Shooting left-handed. Simoneda does the same. How many left-handers can you rattle off, Mike?
Tandrevold, Ader, Aim.
Will allow you to go back in time. You can go back in time.
Oh, gone blank. So we've got 5 current in the 4 in the women's field right now. Tomingas, I think she may well be one, Estonian. We'll hopefully see another.
Right, let's see what Herman has managed to do. She's been competitive all the way through, still sitting in 2nd place after that second shoot behind Dorothea Vera, but she made it look as if she was on a stroll there. 18:17, not a bad race at all. 18:48 won the race last week, so maybe it will be Herman's day. We will see. Vera with a 3-second advantage going into the last lap, but I just didn't see the life in Herman that we used to see, what, the last 2 seasons, Mike?
It didn't feel that way. It can be deceptive. She's very, very strong on her skis, and a little bit like Bolshinov in the male cross-country side. He's so strong. He makes it look like he's skiing slowly.
Yeah, more power, slower tempo. That's absolutely true. But I still didn't get the feeling that she was full of life as we watch Chevalier Boucher trying to down 5, 1 miss in the prone. Actually skiing okay, to be honest. 4th place coming in, 39 seconds. Add another 25 to that, so she's going to be a minute off the pace, and that will struggle to make the top 15 today.
Jean-Paul looks now pained with Breza Boucher missing the first 2 out of the 5-shot standing, and now Chevalier Boucher 2 in total.
Preutz has just moved into 2nd place on the entry into the range, and that is behind Breza Boucher, who has missed in the stand. Oh, that's a shame. 4 out of 5. It's still going to be reasonably good. I think we're looking at top 6 or 7 when she comes out, but there was an opportunity to take 4 or 5 seconds out of Dorothea Viera if she'd gone clear. Selena Gasparin just coming in, Mike, and Tyrrell Eckhoff started 30 seconds behind her. So in the next 10 seconds or so, we should see Eckhoff appear round the corner, take her position on the range for the first time today. Still looking for times coming into the shoot. Eckhoff has gone 2nd fastest, 3 seconds down on Breza Boucher. Now, Dorothea Viera, there's Eckhoff's targets at last. First one down, working left to right as Viera comes in, trying to take the lead away from Denise Herman. Oh, she's tired over the last lap. She had 3.5 seconds to play with, and Viera has missed the opportunity. So just as you said, Mike, Herman is deceptively fast. Yes, very, very powerful skier. 4.4, what's that, 8-second switch.
I'm surprised. Eckhoff, another great start. She takes the lead time. I was really surprised with Viera. She was on her last lap, on Hannah Uberg's 2nd lap. I thought Uberg might have helped her on the chase for Herman if she tucked in behind Uberg.
I love that skate too of Tyrrell Eckhoff's. The tempo is high, the timing is absolute perfection as she works her way out of the stadium.
Well, this is a very good time into the range for the 2nd time for Hannah Uberg. She needs 5.
Oh.
What a shame, all that early season magic and no energy getting out of the range. Those 2 shots, 2 missed targets, it's really zapped her of all confidence there, and not in a real hurry anymore to get out. Reuschland, although it says 8.4 there, that's behind the leader at the moment. She was 11.4 into the range behind.
Oh. Interesting, interesting. A lot of big names being loose with the rifle. What do we got? The top 12 after the first shoot have gone clear, but we've only got 14 clear out of the 23 athletes through the range for the first time. So the percentages are not particularly high at the moment. As far as the 2nd shoot goes, we've only got 3 out of 17. Breza Boucher chasing a good time. Herman's going to survive on 8.17. Breza Boucher was 35 behind after the 2nd shoot. This must be Lisa Vitozzi coming in, and Vitozzi going down into 5th place. Remember, she did 3 penalty loops on the prone and then cleared all the targets in the stand. 35 behind coming out of the range, and actually loses 2 seconds, so I have to take it back. I thought Herman looked sluggish, but Mike, she's gone and done it again. 2 really solid, consistent laps.
Yes, looking so smooth, and yeah, maybe, just maybe, depends on Tyrrell Eckhoff, and possibly some challenges from further back, and maybe Chloe Chevalier could be a challenger today. Starts 75.
Well, this is good news for Elvira Öberg. Good start from her, only 6.5 out. Big battle for the blue bib, which she wears at the moment. Alimbekova is her main rival in that particular competition.
This is looking much better from Elvira, and again, her, like her sister, her early season was excellent. She had 2 third places then. Not much since. Oh, just she gave up on that, didn't give up, but the rifle wasn't pointing to the target. She wanted out in a hurry, and that cost her the final shot.
But did you see the time she came in, Mike? That's one of Tandrevold's best skis ever. 14 off the pace of Boucher, who went and missed targets. So that was another winning opportunity thrown away for Tandrevold as we watch Paulina Fialkova with a second shoot, another 2 missed. We still only have 3 athletes clear after the second shoot.
It's good to see Fialkova, and her ski speed was excellent in the pursuit last week. Only 11 seconds off the fastest. She must have thought she had a chance for a podium, but really panicked in her stand shoot.
So Chevalier Boucher up into 4th, becomes the second of the French. Brézard Boucher in 3rd position at the moment. A minute between the top 4 as we watch Preutz across the line, and she changes the podium position. So Germany, Italy, Germany in the top 3 at the moment, and it's not going to be long, Mike, before Tyrrell Eckhoff comes in for that all-important second shoot. Eckhoff leading at 4.1, and she's got a lead of some 3 seconds over Brézard Boucher, who she was behind coming into the first shoot. Now, I think, Mike, trying to do the calculations, but I think Tyrrell Eckhoff might be able to afford a miss and still be very close to Dorothea Viera's time.
Yes, I've got her at 4.1 kilometers, leading Brézard's time by 3.3 seconds.
Yeah, and 19 seconds clear of Denise Herrmann.
That's a nice comfort zone, especially when Eckhoff can punch, can push a real fast last lap. She always saves a little something for when it's needed.
That's a nice solid shoot. Light conditions, Mike, how did you like sort of zeroing with half light, half daylight, half floodlights, and then switching to the full floodlights?
I didn't like it at all. You can feel it the days previously in training, but it does make a difference.
5 out of 5, and Eckhoff is going into the record books with, now it's going to be a big question. This is all important. She delays a touch, gets it down. The race is still on. 35 seconds to play with as the last target goes down. Only 17 ahead of Dorothea Viera. We can convert that to around 25, Mike. This is going to be so close. And this is where Eckhoff needs that punch. But she's put a pretty fast second lap in, Mike, considering she was 3.5, 4 seconds down on Brézard Boucher after lap number 1.
Yes, I think I still feel safe for Tyrrell Eckhoff to pass, to whether she comes out of the range behind, but she'll be faster, I think, than Herrmann. Garshikova looking good there.
50% of the sprints have been won by an athlete missing 1 target. On every occasion, that has been Tyrrell Eckhoff. Most others having to hit 10 out of 10. Öberg likewise. Those 2 misses in the stand have cost her, but positions all important today in terms of World Cup points, and Öberg wants a decent start in the pursuit tomorrow.
Oh, she looks so tired from that sparky, dynamic move she had all of December and carried it into January, but looks very tired right now.
Yeah, if she can get herself up into the top 6, she's done well. I think, what's it going to be? Oh, she's dropped down over the last kilometre. Another place lost, and 1:07 off the leading time. She's lost, Mike, she's lost an enormous amount. What's that, 8 seconds lost to Herrmann over the last 900 metres.
Oh, that's a huge margin, and it's skis. I think it's more body fatigue. This is great for Alimbekova, she's fourth at last time at 6.6 kilometers. Not quite fast enough to touch the podium.
Yeah, take away the miss, and she would have been challenging Herman. What's she going to be? She was some 21 seconds behind last time we saw her, so another couple of seconds lost to Denise Herman in the closing stages, and she goes down into 4. Good start in the pursuit tomorrow. That's a little bit of consolation for missing out on the top 3. Now, Roysland, 2 misses early on. She knows her chance is gone. Roysland and Öberg, Mike, are handing it to ECKHOFF.
Gifting it away with poor shooting, although ECKHOFF, that one little glitch, that one target missed, but she, of course, went out of the range in second place, but that was behind Vera.
ECKHOFF has gone through 5.9, and having been 2.1 down on Vera, she finds herself now 0.4 down on Herman. And Herman actually out-skiing ECKHOFF over the first kilometre of that last loop. So that will be interesting, Mike. She'll get all the information she needs as we watch Claire Egan, the best of the Americans this year by some way. Susan Dunkley just hasn't found form this season.
Oh, Claire Egan, that was such a good time into the range, but can't afford to miss targets.
If this goes down, Öberg puts herself in a good position for the taking the blue bib come the end of the season. She's in 12th in the overall standings. Was up in the top 4 for the first half of the season. Tanrevold into the finish. Another of the big names that's thrown too wide in the stand, and a minute down, just squeezes in ahead of Chevalier Boucher and Julius Simon. Elvira Öberg now, she's going to be pushed on the last loop. 13.1 and 4th place at the moment. She's got that's a tough task. Vera, ECKHOFF and Herman, those are the 3 ahead of her. She's going to have to find something special. And now ECKHOFF starts to turn it up, Mike. As soon as she got the split that she was behind Herman, she has absolutely exploded. Well, actually, that's my mistake. Vera leading at 5.9, isn't she? Was leading at 5.9. Now it's ECKHOFF at 6.6.
Yes, and she loves this terrain. She says this is her favourite course, and the huge climb after the bridge, I think that's where ECKHOFF really started punching harder, and it's still not a victory in hand. She has to work for it. Herman was fast over the last loop. Hauser, not another podium, but much better than last week. Well, she was down in the 40s last week.
Nice little bit of free skating from ECKHOFF. That's how she got herself the bronze medal in the mass start. Very, very much quicker than anyone else without the poles. Keeps the tempo high. ECKHOFF into the finish now. 40 seconds to play with. She's the only one that's managed to go into the dynamic dance up this final climb. She makes it look so easy. ECKHOFF heading for win number 6. It looks like Herman's time 18:17. 27 seconds to play with. The margins are going to be small. 3 seconds to lead at 6.6, 900 meters to survive that pace, and now with 100 meters to go, ECKHOFF still has 16 seconds. She's there, and comfortably so. This is another brilliant performance, being cheered on by her teammates. Tanrevold winning her in 6.1. My goodness, league of her own, and win number 6. Incredible, absolutely astonishing. No one has ever achieved that in the sprint event in the history of biathlon. So Tyrrell ECKHOFF just continuing this run of form.
Oh, what a shame. Her big sister Paulina missing 2 in the prone, and now Ivona missing so many in the stand. They're both skiing really well. They've found their form towards the end of the season, but they need to refine their form on the rifle.
Selena Gasparin just finishing, going into the top 10. The veteran on the tour, and she shows that you really don't have to give up when you get to your 30s or even your mid-30s. Still producing some very, very solid results, Mike. Top 10 again is fantastic for her. Just a shame that early season we didn't see any of that sort of form. But 18:11, the leading time here, with Denise Herman demoted down into second place. Nice to see Herman on the podium. I'm assuming she's going to stay there. I know it's early days because we had, what did we have, over 100 starters, 104 starters in all today.
Well, Pushkarshikova, she could have done with 5 hits here, but surprisingly, the big names, Davidova, bib number 89 today, and on form in terms of skiing speed. Sharvatova starting at 97. Now that's local knowledge. They must be expecting the tracks to ice over as the sun drops down, completely gone in fact. We'll have to wait and see if it's an advantage.
Yeah, we saw the local team do that yesterday, Mike, and I didn't think it really paid dividends. We thought the tracks had cut up enough to make it much, much harder work, even if you were gliding a little bit faster. What about Roysland coming in? 45 seconds down, and both Roysland and Hanna Öberg way off the standard set by Tyrrell ECKHOFF. Another step closer to the Crystal Globe. The Sprint Globe is secure, has been secured for a while, but the overall globe, Mike, looking more and more as if it's going to stay in Norway.
I'm still almost in disbelief. We've never seen an athlete, men or women, take 6 in a row in terms of sprint competitions. ECKHOFF is completely in ownership of this race this season, except for the first 2 World Cups where she looked really as if she hadn't had a good summer, but she's had a great summer and a fabulous winter. That's what, 11 victories if she remains at the top, and that's a very good score for any season, for any person.
Now, Elvira Öberg was looking good for a top 5 when she left the range for the second time. She was in 4th place, just 13 seconds down. She's faded a little on this last loop, but you've got to remember, as one of the under-25 athletes, she has done exceptionally well. Öberg in 12th position in the under-25, in 12th position overall, 4th position as far as the under-25s go. Tandrevold, Limbekova, and we've got Davidova ahead of her, but that's a really good run. And 6th place for now. She claws a couple of places back over that last kilometre and dives into the prone position.
Oh, totally exhausted. You can give no more, and she would have loved a podium, but she's well set up for the pursuit competition tomorrow.
10 seconds separating the top 3. It was 15 seconds last week, and a minute. We've only got 9 athletes within a minute of each other. Last week, Mike, we had 21.
Yes, it's strange. When at the start of the race, when Denise Herman started with bib number 1, I thought, are we going to see a bib number 1 win today? And I do think the conditions, they were nice and icy as she set off. Small advantage, although ECKHOFF was bib 30, but really did have the overview of the whole race over the big names ahead.
Kadurish of Switzerland, as we watch Schweiger of Austria across the line. That's a good run, actually. Schweiger deserves a lot of credit for that performance. And Lisa Theresa Hauser's been taking all the headlines in the Austrian team. So Schweiger, 25-year-old from Saalfelden, she'll be absolutely thrilled with that. Now, Ida Lien. Tough team to get into, tough team to stay in, the Norwegian team. Could do with finishing the season with some top performances. Gives over a second away. I was going to say, yeah. Mike loses a second to Vera on every shot.
Yes, I was going to say exactly that, but a little more cautious, but you still believed in her. The drill was perfect. She managed to get 1-2 breaths in between each shot, and it really looked, for me, it looked a very stable, and I had confidence in her to get these 5, but it was a little slow.
Out goes Susan Dunkley. You don't need to see the bib number to know, or the ski suit for that matter, to know exactly who it is.
But I'll tell you what, 4th place, that is absolutely excellent. If she could find, what have we got, 9 seconds, that's 9 seconds up to Herman on the last lap.
Yeah, having just said Dunkley hasn't shown much, much form this season. It's all been about Claire Egan. Well, Egan is now down in 29th after the second shoot. Dunkley, as Mike said, up into 4th, 12.9. Elvira Erberg just behind her. She should be able to outski Elvira. She looked a little tired on the first K.5 of the last lap, sort of rallied on the last 500 metres. And then we got Franziska Preutz down in 6th at the moment. So Dunkley a lot to play for, but she's got a 9-second gap between 4th and 3rd. That is going to be very, very difficult to bridge. Still starting. It's a long, old evening, especially when all the favourites are pretty much home and dry.
Just looking at Susan Dunkley's journey. She started quite slow coming in for the first shoot, and she really has upped her game along the track. So hopefully Susan Dunkley can put in a great last lap. There may be a slim chance of a podium, but 4th place right now.
Well, Julia Zima's certainly putting in a shift here. This looks very, very encouraging. Certainly buoyed by the fact that she has cleared all 10 targets into 5th in a bit of a battle with Susan Dunkley, who started behind her. That's a really good fighting effort from Zima. Puskachkova for the Czech Republic. Have the Czechs got it right? I've been all the way back to the early splits, Mike. There's no indication to me that the tracks are getting quicker later on. Lien, who started 64, is 20th fastest, and she's the highest of those who started after bib number 50.
Yes, it doesn't seem like a miracle. Often when you get miracles when the sun goes down and the sky opens up, but maybe the local team thought it was the temperature would plummet to -4 or -5. It hasn't. 21st position for Skarshikova, 128 behind, missing 1 target.
Well, Zima being cheered on by the Ukrainian team, and they're excited to see this. They've not had a huge amount of success this year. Great to see her shoot clear. Still got some 150 meters to go. We're looking at top 5 if she can just keep the pace going. But if she loses another 1.5 seconds, she could be down as far as 7. I think she's going to survive, though. What's she got? Some 5 seconds left to come inside Alimbekova. She's just going to manage that. Good effort and a good fight from Yulia Zima.
Zima, bib 47, a late starter, late midfield starter, because some still have to start yet. Here's Davidova still to get underway, but Zima second last week with the same score and only 9.3 seconds behind ECKHOFF last week, so her ski speed not as good this week. Susan Dunkley's dropping off, sadly, in terms of ski pace on the last lap.
Yeah, if she drops only 3 seconds, look at that, all the way from 4th down to 9th. Which sounds bad, but well, actually she's gone to 28 seconds behind. Those behind her coming out of the range for the second time, the next 5 all within 1.5 seconds. So it was always going to be a battle for Dunkley, and I think she's probably wishing that she had an earlier start. But she shot 0-0. Zima, incidentally, getting 2 0-0s in succession. There are athletes that go the whole way through the season without getting a perfect score. Zima is not one of them.
And I think, mentioned earlier, Davidova just about to start. Shervatova will start later in the last 5. And they had the 8th and the 10th fastest ski times in the pursuit competition last weekend.
Still only 5 in the finish with the perfect score, Mike. With conditions like we've had today, that's not particularly good. Just explain, you know, obviously there's no daylight left now, whereas there was when they were zeroing their weapons. Explain what happens to the sighting.
So in the daylight, you've got great vision all around you, and you've got your pupil it's quite tightly closed, and you've got brilliant vision. The lights go down. Yes, you've got stadium lights, but it's much more difficult to get clarity through the rear sight, foresight to the target. It's a little blurred, and that does put you off. Less effective.
Dunkley across the line, 37, so just hangs on in top 10 at the moment. May well stay there. So replay of
So at this point, the first time at the finish line. ECKHOFF, Denis, Hermann, Dorothea, Vera, Franziska, Preuß, Julia, Schöner, Dinara, Antiekava, Vera Höder, Susan Dunkley, Julia Steiger, Justine Brera, Boucher, Isabelle Roland, Zborska, Flo Chassin. Damit kann Julia Steiger ihre persönliche Bestleistung im Weltcup allenfalls noch einstellen. One penalty, Italian after the standing shoots. Kanadina stavu číslo 12. Majedová z Japonska stav číslo 30. Australia to start was European champion here at Nove Mesto in 2014. Out from the start gate for Estonia, Tuuli Tomingas.
Rare night event here in Nove Mesto in the Czech Republic. Kunninen for Finland, just looking for the Finnish flag in the on the finish board, and Marieda is the best at the moment, down in 33rd position, having missed 3. Slow shoot, we've had a few around the low 20s, but 37.3. But at least all the targets have fallen, and she's saved some energy by avoiding the penalty loop.
Yes, only the second season of World Cup racing for Kunninen. For Finland, she used to race for Belarus and married and has a little child over there in Joensuu, and I think she's much more settled this week in her racing. She's a very fast athlete and normally an accurate athlete. Well, that's a good start time at 2.2 seconds, so her glide factor, Davidova, must have been good after the climb from the start, then the fast descent. But it still looks very wet snow. You can see it splashing up there each time she plants her poles. I don't think it's an advantage. So Yislova, another of the big name athletes from the Czech Republic, opting late again. Quite a length of time there, almost 5 seconds, and then 3.2 for the last trigger. Riffle will be a little disappointed with that. Maybe the thinking from the Czech Republic is that if they're at the back, they'll have all the information ahead of them, and there they are getting Davidova getting all the information right now. Maybe that was the strategy, to go late, to bring more out of the athletes should they be close to the podium on the last lap.
But Mike, you know full well that if you had the choice between faster tracks and more information, you would always go for faster, cleaner tracks.
I'm trying to see the positive, why they would go at the back, and I can't quite figure it out. I thought we might see something from the Russian women biathletes this last weekend of racing. They showed a little improvement last weekend.
But having said that, Mike, Davydova, the 8th fastest into the first split at 900 meters. So she started pretty well, still in the top 10 at 1.6. And we'll see how she fares, whether she can keep that pace going. Is that justification enough? You would have expected Davydova to be in the top 5 or 6 anyway.
Yes, the way she's been performing nearly all season long, her ski speed's been excellent, and that's just same as normal today, really, in the top 5 to begin with.
Although, having said that, Mike, you know, at 1.6, she is 1 place ahead of Denise Herman, who started number 1, and we thought Herman started pretty well.
Positivity, so yeah, maybe it is the right decision. Hammerschmidt, her ski speed is her weaker aspect, but today her shooting has let her down as well, missing 3.
Chloé Chevalier for France, obviously. The French, few too many targets missed today. Chevalier Boucher missing 2, Julia Simon missing 2, Anaïs Bescon missing 2. And I suspect Chloé Chevalier missing 2.
Well, it's quite amazing. Is it the light? There's no wind influence to speak of.
Well, that's a good
Fantastic
one from Davydova. So it keeps the race alive, certainly. And she's looking quite flushed, Mike. When an athlete's on really good form, you certainly don't see that sort of, you know, it's as if the body temperature's gone up 5 degrees.
Yes, I should be hoping it drops another 5 during the last part of a race just to get the icy tracks the advantage. But it's a very good start to a race in 7th place, only 9 seconds behind ECKHOFF.
Pit number 103, just outside the start gate, and the field will be concluded. The start proceedings will be concluded by pit number 104 for the team of Germany.
Well, let's have a look and see where ECKHOFF's shots fell. Generally low. Safe enough, though, Mike. 2 of them certainly inside the 8 ring, but the others a little bit low.
Yes, they were. Good to see Anna Vidal again at the World Cup. She said she's done well at the IBU Cup on a couple of occasions. Podiums. Twice taking podiums. The pursuit competition in Brezhno, when was that? January coming into February. She took that victory there, having finished 7th in the sprint. So she is good, and she's starting in very last position.
64 athletes across the finish line already. Kinnunen looked good in the prone, took her time, shoot of around 37.5 seconds. Vitozzi, Mike, 19.9 with 5 down after the prone. Nice shoot. Excellent. Really, really solid performances today. Not quick, as we pointed out, but she's not incurred any penalties, and Kinnunen could well be heading for a season's best as Markita Davydova pushes out on the first loop. We picked her up early on, and just looking for a position, Mike, she was in 10th, just pushed down into 11th at 1.6, and Femstein, the Norwegian, has just gone through with the second fastest time at 1.6, so maybe those who've started between 100 and 104 are going to get the quick conditions that the Czechs were after. It is usually just a matter of 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, that's not a bad, yes, decent start for the pursuit competition tomorrow at 1:27 behind. That's likely to stay if ECKHOFF isn't threatened at the top.
Well, Davidova's had a very a solid start, 7th place before coming out, so the Czechs will be keeping a careful eye on her. She's the best position of the Czechs at the first shoot. Can Shvatova get inside her time? Davidova 9 seconds outside the leader, and I think Lucy Shvatova is going to improve on that. So, Mike, we are now starting to see the reduction of the temperature fall starting to affect the speed. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But it's such a marginal game, isn't it? You just don't know when the weather is going to change.
It's so far so good for the two big names and the two on form from the Czech Republic. They were so disappointed with results last week at the first World Cup here, but so far looking much, much improved. And a real, wouldn't it be great if there was a threat for first, second or third place?
Yeah, it certainly would be. Shvatova's gone into 5th, so she's not far off. And if the speed stays good, gaining those 6 seconds on Urberg and Preutz and Breza Boucher, who all started early, that won't be too tough. Maybe ECKHOFF's 6th victory isn't in the bag quite yet. 18:11 the leading time. Kuklina goes into 35 in the points at the moment, but I don't think there's much doubt that she'll be squeezed out of the top 40 come the end of the day. Now this is Femsteinvik, if I'm not mistaken. It is Femsteinvik, and very, very quick into the range.
Well, she missed 4 targets. Don't want to remind her, she won't hear me, but last week she missed 4. Oh, and it doesn't look as if it's going to be much better. She missed 2 and 2, I think it was, last week.
Yeah, look at the movement at the end of the rifle. You see that in the stand. You don't normally see it in the prone. Any technical issues you can see?
It's all good. The shoulders are level, the position is comfortable, but I think she just came in over her comfort zone with the excitement and wanting to do so much better than she did last week at, as I said, 71st position. And maybe it's just that over-trying in her second World Cup start.
Yeah, early days. The Norwegian team are fairly lenient at the start of your career. You get a few chances compared to some other nations. Now, Marketa Davidova, this is huge. She's got the lead coming in. Oh. Well, that will allow ECKHOFF to relax just a little bit. Top 5 still possible if she downs the remaining 2. Good finish, Mike. What a shame about that first shot. We'll see what the margins are as she comes out. Agony for the coaches, especially the man on the scope. That's so difficult.
It is. He was a great biathlete himself, Martin, but disappointed there. They needed 5, or Davidova needed 5, and sadly it didn't happen.
Still waiting for Davidova to exit the penalty loop. Here she is, and from being possibly 2 or 3 seconds up on Dorothea Vera at this stage, she finds herself down in 10th, 30 seconds behind. Now, if she's got to gain 9 to gain 1 place alone, the tracks have got to have got significantly faster for that to happen. I must say, Mike, Franziska Preutz of Germany has had a good race, considering she missed one shot. She's still lying in 4th place, just 17 seconds down on ECKHOFF, who also missed one.
And Preutz, what a year she's had. She's 4th in the world, and she's so consistent. Unfortunately, not consistently on the podium. She's had 1 3rd and 1 2nd this year, but she's barely outside the top 10 every race. She shoots well, has a very good ski speed. I'd love to see her win a race before the end of the season.
She's running out of time. Still lying 4th in the World Cup standings. What is she? 211 points off the race, the tour leader, ECKHOFF. It's going to be a few more than that by the time we've finished today.
Keenan in there, she'll be much happier with a 38th. Is it 38th? Just checking at the finish that she was last week. So I think a very good outing for her first 2 World Cup weekends.
Luckily, in the Belgian suit on the final stretch.
The trouble with this far back as well, Patrick, it's a lonely track now. There's not much traffic to hang on to or try and stay with, or athletes with fresher legs to tuck in behind. And look at the snow, it really is still splashing up. She was 30 seconds behind, so well, losing only 3 seconds from the range to this point.
.33. If she can hold that, then she will stay in the top 7, just behind Elembekova of Belarus. Alisa Gasparin chasing her sister's time. Selena Gasparin at 1:06 off the leader. She's just going to miss that. That's not a bad run at all from Alisa.
And Kadurish started well to the first shooting. Her ski speed was good. And the Swiss team have showed flickers of brilliance. And their best ever World Cup finish at the World Championships, World Champs World Cup, where you had 4 in the top 18 finishers.
Yeah, just a shame the relay team hasn't performed quite as well as it did last year. Now, Lucy Shvatova on range for the home team. That miss is going to prove very, very expensive.
The wrist isn't locked. It's quite a loose position, isn't it? But she's got away with 1 miss.
Yeah, I mean, you can visibly see her dropping the barrel down onto the target, and a massive movement compared to most.
Look at
Still
the time.
9 out of 10.
That would have been brilliant.
Would have been really good.
If it was straight out now, it's not straight out now. She'd certainly have been challenging for a podium.
Yeah, she's going to have a good race with Davidova, I feel. Davidova came out of the second shoot at 30 seconds, and here is Davidova. 36 now, the margin's getting bigger and bigger, Mike. Still looking for a top 10. It's possible, but she's really going to have to push. Now, what will Shvatova get? Can she get within 30 seconds of the leaders? Yes, she can. 23.3 puts her into 10th position at the moment. And, well, if she can stay 23 behind, that's no easy task. That would put a top 5. .30-year-old Akimova hasn't raced too much on the World Cup this season. Just did the individual in Pachuca. And has on occasion failed to qualify for a pursuit, but I think today is going to be comfortably inside the top 60 and just pipped by Hannah Öberg, who's had a bad day today. You know, ECKHOFF has secured the sprint title already. She's done enough today with Hannah Öberg down in 22nd and Roysland in 12th. I just get the feeling there's no comeback, especially as both Roysland and Öberg lose more points when they start taking off your worst performance.
Yes, and ECKHOFF just looking so strong all round. 43 seconds, so 13 seconds lost from Davidova. That's to ECKHOFF's time. And maybe that very last group position start time hasn't paid off. Akimova, we saw her coming in. It was good, and she's been brought into the team because of her 2 IBU Cup victories. They're desperate for success here as well at World Cup, but it wasn't to be today.
Yeah, Mike, the only 2 who've got anywhere near ECKHOFF's last lap time are Denise Herman and Dorothea Vera, who started number 1 and number 6.
Yes, and we'll get another look along the track here. You can see how deep it is, and that's where the energy is being lost, in the depth of the ruts, if you like, in the snow. It is hard in many places, but it's still splashing, completely sucking under the skis, the humidity, and it drags. It's a drag factor under the base of the skis.
Erika Janka has missed out on the top 60. Top 60 margin at the moment is at 2:10. Pretty similar to what it was in the sprint event last week. Something about this course that keeps the margins considerably less than we see in all the other World Cups on the World Tour. ECKHOFF can relax, I think, Mike, can't she? 18:11 is not going to be bettered. Herman and Vera can... they haven't got to practice speeches for being on the podium, but they won't be able to go home quite yet. They've got medals and usually some sort of cut glass or whatever to take home with them.
Early on, this section of the track was just so smooth for Denise Herman, cutting her own first tracks along here, and Shavatova, it must feel very much slower right now.
Late start for Makushna today, 57th in the World Cup standings, and she gets a few more World Cup points. I'm pretty sure of that, thanks to the clear shoot, and generally misses 1. Did shoot clear in Hogfilson in the sprint. Tyrrell Eckhoff has the luxury of knowing she doesn't have to shoot clear to win, and that is what's happened yet again today. 5 of the 9 sprints this season have been won with 1 miss. Dorothea Vera, well, she does what Lisa Vitozzi did last week and has finished in 3rd. The Italians finishing the season well.
Shavatova certainly saving her best ski form for the very end of the season, so almost a little subdued at the World Championships. Now she's released the pressure off. She'd have loved to have placed herself on the podium here. She needed to shoot 0-0, and she probably would have.
Yeah, she could be in for a top 10. Her teammate, Davidova, is sitting in 10th at the moment. I think she's going to be inside that. She will be. So Davidova out to 11th. And Shavatova, the best of the Czechs, the best of the host nation today, with 1 miss. Take away, what, let's say 26 seconds. And she would have been 13 down and just missing out on a podium. So a really, really close race for her. The third of the sisters, Aita, shooting okay, but Selena Gasparin missed 2 and is still up in the top 18. So Selena has skied really well today. Could be one to watch in the pursuit tomorrow.
And another athlete, Femsteinvik, at the IBU Cup, so the 2nd division. She does know what it feels like to touch the podium. She did that in Brezno in the sprint competition. She missed 2 targets then, so her ski speed is excellent.
Yeah, and her standing shoot was good. Got through on through there unscathed, and Just looking at the damage done with that, with those misses on the first shoot. Roysland was down in 77th position with 2 misses, Mike, on shoot number 1. Fem Steinvik with 3, down in 95th position out of the 104 starters. So she's done well to recover from there.
She really has. Aita Gashparan, I often wondered, the 3 sisters, they all speak 5 languages, so I'd love to see them on top of the podium and giving their little press conference in all of their 5 languages. Not many would understand the Romanish, I'm sure, though.
So a possible, in fact, a certain pursuit start for Aita Gisparin, but she's going to be some way behind Selina. The best of the Swiss sitting in 18th position. The winner, as you know, missing 1 target as we see Fem Steinvik coming home. She's going to miss out on points, but will get herself some experience in the pursuit. That will be really good for a really good building block for next season. Work to do on the prone shooting, Mike. Was that technique? Certainly looked as if it was, rather than confidence.
Yes,